All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another just article reaction video looking at Bleacher Report's NBA power rankings in the wake of a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade saga. This came out last week, and we're going to just react to their 30-1 rankings, let you guys know what I agree with, disagree with, kind of take a little bit of a break from the trade talk or just kind of the trade ideas and really just talk about what I've been seeing from these teams over the last few weeks. I think I'm going to do my power rankings after the trade deadline. So I think the trade deadline's Thursday. I usually do my grades that day. So I know, or I told you guys that I'm going to be at Bleacher Report Studio in New York, which I think that will go till like 3:30ish. I think the deadline's done at 4. Who knows? Maybe that goes till 4. And then I would hopefully get my grades up later that night. And then I'll do my full power rankings on Friday. And then we'll do like a post-trade deadline mock draft and all that stuff that you guys enjoy. So let's react to this. Shout out to Andy Bailey of Bleacher Report for writing this article, and I'm going to let you guys know what I agree with, what I disagree with. Same with you. If you have anything that you think is like a team is too high, too low, let me know down below. So we're going to start off here at number 30. Whoa! The Milwaukee Bucks are 30? I mean, with no Giannis, this team does take a massive hit in terms of talent. I don't know about the worst team in the NBA. That's kind of crazy. I know, I guess there is a realistic scenario where between today and the end of the season in like early April, whatever the last day is, like April 12th, if Giannis doesn't play another game for Milwaukee, either because if he's injured or trade, the Bucks are probably the worst team. Like, they could finish with the worst record, but I don't know. If they trade him, they're probably getting good players back, or at least competitive players back. So then that would help the Bucks record. I don't know. I highly doubt that they're going to end up being the worst team in the NBA between now and the end of the year. Have we watched Sacramento play basketball as of late? So I disagree here. I do appreciate maybe it's the hot take. I do think you can put Milwaukee in the bottom 5. I don't think that's a hot take whatsoever. The last spot, like Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma, Portis, but then again, like all these guys might get traded. We'll see how these next few days look. But yeah, this team, if they don't trade Giannis and Giannis is hurt for the second half, there's going to be a lot of losses coming from Milwaukee. So coming in at 29, we have the Washington Wizards, who just, oh man, I tweeted out in my thoughts that I saw the light at the end of the tunnel for Washington, and I still do. They had a really nice win against Portland, and then they had a nice win. Who the hell? And they just got blown out by the Lakers. Now I'm forgetting who they literally just beat after. Why can't I remember this? Yeah, it was the Milwaukee Bucks. That's who they beat, and they beat them multiple times this year. And then they just show out, or they don't show out. They go up against the Lakers at home, and Luka has like 16, 7, and 7 in the first quarter. And it was just like he can get to his spots wherever they want. And it's like, all right, you're still figuring out Washington is still a little bit away. I mean, I had like an intrusive thought yesterday. I was like, what if the top 3 teams in the lottery in some shape or form, you have Washington, Charlotte, Utah. Think about how amazing those futures go. They're already, like, all of them are bright. Charlotte, hey, people want to think that they're going to win a playoff series this year. They got to get in the playing tournament first. But Charlotte, imagine they're adding Cameron Boozer. Imagine Washington adds AJ DeBanta, and Utah adds like Darren Peterson, or in some way, shape, or form of those 3 guys. Those 3 futures take a insane leap. It's like Spurs 2023 or 2024 leap going forward. So yeah, the Wizards are at 29. I guess not really shocking. They're 12 and 34. I think today the Kings actually have the number 1 odds at the number 1 pick, because they have 37 losses compared to the Wizards 34. Kings at 28. I mean, I know Sabonis didn't play yesterday against the Boston Celtics, but neither did Jaylen Brown. I know Russ didn't play either, but like, I don't know. The DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine era needs to end. I should never assume with Vivek and the Kings, but even if they don't trade DeRozan at the deadline, they should waive him in the offseason. It's not a fully guaranteed, and you're probably not competitive in 2027. I mean, when you're looking at a franchise outlook, Sacramento and Milwaukee, they're a team that needs their franchise guy going forward, or at least something to latch onto if Giannis is traded and there's not like a Dylan Harper coming back, right? And it's like, yeah, Khalil Ware, Yakuchonis, Tower Hero, like we need that guy. Same thing with Sacramento. It's like, I want them to play the young guys. Like, I want to see more Cardwell, who we've gone, Reno, like Clifford. It sucks Keegan's hurt, but it's like they're going to lose a lot of games with that young core. That is still not a good young core by any means. I mean, I liked Isaac Jones. He's no longer on the team. I like Keon Ellis. I think we like him a lot more than his actual value is on a basketball court. Monk's going to be gone soon. This team is going to be bad, I think, for the next 2 years, and I guess that's okay. They just really need to hit on a draft pick, and if they fall to like 8 in the lottery or something crazy happens, or 6, they really need to hit on that pick as well. But it really does come down to the lottery, like it does for a lot of these teams over the last few years. The Kings have definitely been playing some uninspiring basketball. And I wonder if Sabonis has moved at the deadline as well. Indiana coming in at number 27. I feel bad for Pascal Siakam this year. Like, for him, too. He already got his ring, right, back in 2019. And he had the taste of being in the NBA Finals in 2025. It's tough, too, because he's 31. And I'm watching him give it all every single night. And they've lost a lot of games this year. They've had a lot of injuries this year as well. I know everybody wants to say that they will be back. And I want to say that. I want to be positive. There's no guarantee that you're going to be back. I'm sure a lot of Mavericks fans thought that they were going to be back in the finals after 2024. We see how that went. I'm sure a lot of Suns fans thought they were going to be in the back in the finals after 2021 and how'd that go. But hey, you could reverse it and say maybe Golden State fans thought they could be back and they were in 22. Celtics fans lose in 22. They thought they could be back. They win it in 24. Like, Nuggets haven't been back since. It's very tough to get to the NBA Finals because you need to have your injury luck. You need to kind of everybody align with each other. You need maybe a little bit of injury luck on the other side, right? You might need to go up against the banged up team. Like, I still think Indiana was the better team in hindsight, but who knows? What if Garland, Hunter, and Mobley are not all like semi-banged up against the Pacers? And what if they don't blow that game too? Which, hey, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If my head balls should be my uncle, right? But it's very tough to go back, especially when you're not like a stacked team. Now, if Indiana lands a Boozer, Durant, or Peterson, this can completely change. But your franchise engine, who is so reliant on his quick decision-making, his quickness, his pace ability, like able to push the floor, and Halliburton, what if it's a little bit of a rehab year next year? What if he doesn't look like 100% Halliburton, which he definitely could. Like, modern technology, modern medicine's a completely different ballgame now, coming off a torn Achilles. But what if he's like 80% Halliburton, which is still a good player, and then you have Siakam that's going to be 32, going to be 33. What if they end up with like the 7th overall pick, 6th overall pick? I'm just saying, it's not a guarantee that they're going to be back. I think they can definitely, like, look at the Eastern Conference. The Pistons, the number 1 team, just got blown out by the Suns the other day with no Devin Booker and Jalen Green. Like, the East is wide open this year, and it will be wide open next year. I think Boston will probably be the favorite next year, given that they add a center in the offseason and they're getting Jason Tatum back, which Jason Tatum's a better player than Tyrese Halliburton. So, hey, a lot's going to change. I'm just saying, like, Indiana, I feel bad for Siakam, and I don't want this team to, like, have in their mind, they're a very smart ran organization, right? They're very, very forward thinking in that front office. So I think they know that it's not a guarantee that they'll be back, and they'll make the adequate moves to go forward. But I just feel bad watching Pascal Siakam every night, who's like a veteran. He doesn't have that many years left in his prime, like 3 or 4, and they're one of the worst teams in the league, but who's surprised, right? Turner goes to Milwaukee, Halliburton's out for the year. It makes sense, and everybody's been hurt. Utah at 16. I wonder if Utah's going to get a fine again this year, because there's a lot of players in the league that are sick, and knock on wood, I haven't been sick this year. I remember the night Luka got traded last year, I got the flu, like, the next day. Like, if you watched my trade deadline live stream, if you watched my Jimmy Butler, like, reaction video or De'Aaron Fox reaction video, I am maybe the sickest I ever was in my life. Like, I got COVID once. I was sick, but it wasn't really that bad for me. It was just like a little bit of body aches. The flu kicked my ass. And where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So people are sick throughout the league, right? Like, Markkanen, I hope it's fine. Like, he was sick for a while. They're 3-15 or 3-14 since December 30th when they realized they were winning maybe too many games. Nurkic had that triple-double against Minnesota. Still wild that he had a triple-double against Miami and San Antonio, I believe. And they got, like, blown out in those games. But they're able to go toe-to-toe with, like, one of the hottest teams in basketball against the maybe favorite for Depoy at the time and Rudy Gobert. It still doesn't make sense to this day. But yeah, Keontae George might miss time for a little bit. I think they're realizing, yeah, we got to keep our top 9 protected pick. It's nice to see George break out. It's nice to see Cody Williams, who they're using as, like, the photo here, break out a little bit. But yeah, I expect them to lose a lot of games in the second half, which, since their pick is protected, I get it. I do. Brooklyn here at 25. I tweeted out the other day, because I know MPJ got banked up. I think it was against the Orlando game a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, the Nets should sell high on MPJ before it's too late. And then he just rattles off some insane games in a row. He just has a monster game against his old team, the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, Igor Drummond just played really well last night. Also, they just beat the Utah Jazz in what felt like a tank off because MPJ was out. But his was personal reasons. It's not like they were faking an injury or an illness with him. So they come in at 25. Pelicans here at 24. They just beat the Memphis Grizzlies, correct? In a really nice Derek Queen game and Zion game as well against Memphis, who didn't have Ja. I mean, this team, unlike the other teams, has no reason to try to take in the second half. They do not have their first round pick whatsoever. I know they've been in talks to trade away Herb Jones and Misi and Alvarado and Bay. I mean, if you can get a really good draft pick return for any of those guys, yes. I'm not trading Yves Misi. Like, I would trade Jose Alvarado for, like, a top 10 second round pick if you can get that. I think that could be pretty valuable in this year's draft. But I would trade Sadiq Bey. Maybe you sell high on him. I am not selling Zion off for parts. I'm not trading Yves Missi. I don't know why I know like you don't think Missi and Queen can work out, but Missi was like the 20th pick. And he's got 2 more years under this rookie contract. Centers go down all the time. It's not the worst idea to have a very athletic rim running backup center by any means. I mean, you drafted him 20th overall. He's not supposed to be your franchise star. It's okay that he's a backup and you can't play him out there with Queen. 23, Dallas Mavericks, 19 and 29. I mean, this team also, I guess, has a reason to try to lose more games than win. Cooper Flagg just had a superstar performance against the Charlotte Hornets. I was actually watching the game on mute. But I thought his end block, where he like two-handed after turning it over, was actually just a clean block, but it was a foul on Knipple. And I was just like, this man is, like, even when he makes a mistake, he makes up for it. But they called the foul there, and he went toe-to-toe with Knipple. And I guess individually he outperformed Knipple, but Knipple got the win. And hey, the Charlotte Hornets might be 8 on this power ranking. Yeah, the Mavericks are tough. They've also had so many injuries this year. Are we ever going to see Anthony Davis in the Mavericks jersey again? Like, low-key, if you're just getting expiring contracts for AD, we can have the talk if you think you can use that elsewhere in free agency and the trade market in the offseason. But say this team somehow gets lucky in the lottery, or even is picking 8, and we're adding like Keaton Wagler, Phylon, Brown, like some guard to this team in the draft. I don't mind healthy Kyrie next year. And I don't mind trying to talk myself into Anthony Davis again, because what Anthony Davis could be next year, hopefully healthy. Hey, who knows? Maybe it's every 2 to 3 year thing with Anthony Davis. We'll get a healthy season. Mavericks could be good next year. Cooper Flagg at 20 years old, that already might be a top 30 player in the NBA. Coming in at number 22, we have the Memphis Grizzlies, who've been unfortunate to watch this year at times now. Like, Zach Edey was one of my favorite, like, young bigs. He's like 23rd, but still younger bigs. And then he's just been banged up a ton this year, which was one of the cause of concerns with Zach Edey coming out of Purdue, given his size. I mean, Cam Spencer has been a joy to watch this year. Everybody from like that 2024 UConn team has been really fun to watch. Jalen Wells has been a little inconsistent. I've enjoyed Cedric Coward. I think Jock Landale could be a premier big man on the trade market as well. It's just, where does Memphis go from here? I was actually, so today on my SROS channel, I'm doing a regrade of the 2024 trade deadline. And then I was talking about the Marcus Smart salary dump, and Marcus Smart would have been under contract this year as well. And I don't know, like when that trade went down, we thought Memphis could have, I don't know, made a lateral move for maybe Kevin Durant, but maybe not, but maybe use that cap flexibility somewhere else. And no, they went the other way and they traded away Desmond Bane in the offseason. Now they're willing to trade away John Morant, and they extended Jaren Jackson Jr. Maybe that's why they traded Smart, so they could extend Triple J. But like, I mean, the Grizzlies owner's been in some really bad news this week. Chena Babel Torre. I don't know. You traded away the Will Riley pick. Who knows if they would have even taken Will Riley? Maybe it's Walter Clayton. Maybe it's somebody else that went later in the draft as well. It's just, I don't know. You add Drake Powell to this team. I'm even more excited about another wing going forward. So yeah, I don't really know why Memphis did that trade. It's to probably save money at the end of the day. I thought they could have maybe been I think they were linked to Jimmy Butler in a way, but then Jimmy Butler didn't want to go to Memphis, and he was a free agent at the end of the year, so he kind of had all the leverage. So yeah, it's just Memphis is in a weird spot right now. They're better than like the Pacers and the Kings at this moment. I'm like, I want to say the Pelicans, but they just lost to them, even though they didn't have Ja, Clark, Aldama, or Zach Edey in that game. But it's just like they're kind of like in the Bulls range right now, which we're going to get to next. I would say their future is more exciting than the Bulls, and I trust their front office more than the Bulls. And they have like John Moran at least going forward. And Triple J. Chicago's 23 and 25. Probably the worst spot to be. I'm surprised. I guess bottom 10 makes sense. They're in that play-in tournament off right now with the Miami Heat. They lost on Thursday. They're going to play today and tomorrow. It's a makeup game from the condensation court. It's just hilarious that these teams are in the play-in tournament every year and they're going up against each other in basically a play-in tournament series in the middle of the year. I wonder what Chicago is going to do at the deadline. I would trade Kobe White. I would hold off on a Dosunmu trade because Dosunmu's from the Illinois area and like the Chicago-ish area. Like, I don't mind extending Dosunmu at the end of the year. I don't like the idea of extending both of them. And if you can get a first rounder for Kobe White, I would do it. Maybe no team's willing to offer a first round pick for possible rental on Kobe White, and then you got to extend him at the end of the year. Atlanta comes in at number 20. Very disappointing to their expectations going into the season. They've been kind of hot and cold since the Trae Young trade. They look good, then they looked really bad, and everybody was ready to like buy out CJ McCollum. And they look good as of late. I think they're like 4-0 in the Christian Coloco era or something like that. And they've also had their fair share of injuries this year. The Kristaps Porzingis experiment has been, I guess, what you'd expect, where it's just been underwhelming because of injuries and his lack of availability on the court. I do wonder what they're going to do at the deadline. They don't own their first round pick this year. I just don't know if they're going to, well, thank God they do own the Pelicans first round pick, because this team could add a Peterson or Dubanza, and that changes everything. I don't think they end up as a Giannis team. I don't think they're trading Jalen Johnson for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, if it's a 1-for-1, sure, we can have the phone call, but if I'm also throwing in Reece Shea, it's too much for our future, and we're not that deep as it is. They have a lot of expiring money, and then we're going to really figure out what Anti Sal is going to do with the Trae Young trade flexibility, because right now they're not really getting much. It's an expiring McCollum. It's Corey Kispert, who hasn't really been that great. Maybe they're able to trade Kennard for like a top 40 pick, like a high second round pick, just because of his 3-point shooting. So we'll see. Like, could you get Detroit's first rounder and they go from like LeVert to Kennard? Probably not, because Kennard's an expiring and obviously has his liabilities defensively. And he was also a former Detroit Piston. Coming in at 19, the Lakers. Okay, I mean, the Lakers had maybe their worst loss of the year against the Cleveland Cavaliers, getting blown out in that game. It felt wrong for the Cavs to wear their throwbacks and to blow out LeBron James. Luka gets hurt with the whole court issue. And honestly, I forgot about the Drew Smith ACL tear. And I don't know why that's a thing. The NBA might fix that this offseason. It's just why. Like, if we don't need to have that there, why do we have it there? So the Lakers are here at 19. They just blew out the Washington Wizards. I mean, they've been without Austin Reeves for a while, and I mean, DeAndre Ayton put up a monster performance against the Washington Wizards, but I would like to see him put up that monster performance against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Either way, I don't want to use the word fraud. Like, the Lakers are, I think, as advertised. Like, they're not a top-tier Western Conference team, but I do think they were going to be a top 7, top 8 team, and they were going to finish between 5 and 8. I thought, like, I'll go back to, like, any of my predictions. I'm pretty sure I said that. So they're pretty much right where I thought they would be. And honestly, like, 28 and 18, I think they're exceeding expectations, especially with the Reeves injury right now. And to be honest with you, unless it's just like Kleba, I don't know, like Kleba, Vanderbilt for Kuminga, like, I'll do that. I don't mind the Lakers staying put at the deadline. Like, this team, who knows? Maybe some things go their way. Maybe we're actually looking at the Thunder as vulnerable. I just don't think the Lakers are beating the Nuggets or the Thunder. I think it would take a lot to beat the Rockets and the Spurs or the Timberwolves, but it's possible for those teams. I just don't think the Lakers are making the finals. But do you owe it to LeBron to put all your chips forward? I don't know. It's obviously Luka's team going forward. You're going to re-sign Reeves in the offseason, and then you're going to have a $53 million expiring, and then you also have Kleba and Vincent's expiring as well. Maybe they trade Connect at the deadline. Maybe they trade DeAndre Ayton at the deadline, and they really like Jackson Hayes. Charlotte at 18. Wow. Okay, I like Charlotte more than the next person, but Charlotte ahead of the Lakers. You know what? They've had a top 10 offense this year, top 8 offense. They've arguably been the best offense over the last few weeks. I mean, I've been sipping the Hornets Kool-Aid. I just made a video kind of glazing them for 20 minutes. 18, okay. I mean, they're 21 and 28, but if you look at also their Pythagorean win-loss, which I think he actually used here for the Lakers, that they are overachieving. I know, does he mention it here? Okay, so I know the Pythagorean for the win for the Hornets. So they played, what, 49 games this year? I think it's got to be like 26 and 22 or something like that, or 26 and 23 or 25 and 24. Like, it's an above 500 record. It's just, the problem is they've had some injuries this year, and they've not been great in clutch games, at least earlier in the year. They blew a lot of games down the stretch, and this team is fun, man. Like, Knipple, healthy LaMelo with his gravity, his playmaking, and then Miller, Moose, and then obviously Miles Bridges, their starting 5, has had a great net rating this year, and they haven't even had like the strongest bench. Like, you get some good Kalkbrenner minutes here and there. Sion James had a moment, but hasn't really been too much involved as of late. Trey Mann's kind of giving them nothing. Grant Williams has been not the best since he's recovered from his injury. Josh Green's not really moving the needle too much. So honestly, like, C. John Talon's probably been the most exciting bench piece, unless I'm missing, or I guess Sexton as well. But yeah, Charlotte, the fact that they're here is where I thought they would be last year. But I guess this man has really just changed the course. Like, him and a healthy LaMelo and Miller have really changed the course of this franchise moving forward. Golden State at 17. They just lost to the Detroit Pistons last night. What was the final score? 131-124. I'm looking at it. I kind of fell asleep like mid-third quarter when Curry got hurt and was not returning, or that might have been the fourth. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to watch this game anymore. It's tough. Same thing with like LeBron. Like, do you owe it to Steph? Now, I will say, I feel bad for Steph, even though he has 4 rings, but he really like cares so much about this team and wants to win in Golden State. And I can't see him in any other uniform, but it's just like, they already traded for Jimmy Butler. Kuminga doesn't really have much of a market unless you're throwing in like 4 first-round picks for Lowry Markkanen, and maybe the Jazz would think about that. Like, all unprotected in 2030. And you would also have to throw in Draymond in that trade to get there financially. So they already made the trade for Jimmy. And Steph's also making the most out of anybody in the NBA. And with the second aprons, it's tough. it's tough now. If Steph was making 45 million, like he took the Kevin Durant extension with Houston, I would feel worse, I think, for Steph. But his contract also handicaps them at the same time and what they're able to do moving forward. Now, it's not Steph's fault that they took Kuminga over Franz. They took Moody over Şengün and Jalen Johnson and Trey Murphy. And it's not Steph's fault that they didn't trade for Lauri Markkanen in the offseason of 2024 when he was way more realistic of a trade target. But it's tough now. It's really tough for, I think, them to get into that Thunder OKC tier. I mean, the media has been really pushing Giannis to Golden State when I'm not really moved by the package. I'm not moved about Jimmy Butler at all. 37-year-old coming off an ACL tear and an expiring contract. That is, I think, a negative asset at this point. I don't know why the media is treating that as a positive asset for Milwaukee. And then, I mean, I'd much rather have Kuminga and Draymond and Pods and Moody, and there's like Kuzma going back, and all your picks. Like, that's not the worst deal in the world. It's not the best deal by any means, but at least it's better than the Jimmy Butler trade package that I'm seeing people throw out there, which I don't think is a good one whatsoever. We'll see. It feels like they're the favorites to get Giannis, but once again, if you're Giannis, I mean, playing with Steph would be amazing, and then you're the franchise guy in the Bay Area. Grass isn't always greener, but I just think you'd rather go to the East, like go to Miami. I mean, I'll say go to New York, but I don't know how I feel about the Knicks going after him. I don't think it's going to happen at the deadline. I think the Knicks want to see what happens in the playoffs with Cat and everything else they have right now. And maybe a team kind of comes in at the last second and ends up maybe outbidding the Knicks. Like maybe it's the Hawks, maybe it's the Pistons, maybe it's the Cavs, maybe it's the Magic. Who knows? I just don't know. I just wonder where Giannis is going to end up. Maybe it's Brooklyn. Who knows? Portland at 60 or 16. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess rest of the season with no Jimmy Butler and Golden State. I mean, and all the injuries Portland has, and they're like right around 500. It's a good place to be. They just lost to the New York Knicks. I mean, it really wasn't close for most of the game. They had kind of like a run there in the second quarter, but their defense has been a little bit tough as of late. And Shaedon Sharpe, he played well against the Knicks. There's been some inconsistencies. Then he's had the back injury. I wonder if they would actually make Drew Holiday available, and I do think they can actually get a positive return for Drew Holiday. They paid, Anthony Simons in some seconds. I think they could get like a first rounder for Drew. It's just tough with the contract. Like, could you find another 30 million? Like, would the Lakers do Kleba, Vanderbilt, and Vincent for Drew? Maybe connect, but it's like a 4-for-1, which is already like crazy enough as it seems. I mean, Drew is exactly what they need. Maybe that ends up happening, but the Lakers have to kick in a 2031 first. If you're Portland, that's pretty valuable, I would say, going forward. You're getting Dame back next year. You're getting Scoop back soon. I just wonder, I think this team wants to see its roster at full strength, which we never really got this year. Orlando at 15, speaking of never seeing a roster at full strength, they kind of came out flat against the Toronto Raptors. It was a good win, really good comeback win. They just have all the talent in the world. They're 24-22, so it feels like they've underperformed this year. But Paolo gets hurt, he comes back. Franz gets hurt, Suggs gets hurt. Franz has now been dealing with like the injury management. They're not really playing Goga. Wendell Carter Jr. has been, I think, fine for this team. They recently got back Mo Wagner. Isaac's not really a guy for them anymore. And then it's just like Jace Richardson. It's nice what he can give you. I should mention Anthony Black is broken out this year. So this team has all the talent. It's just like Black, Suggs, Bane, Franz, and Paolo. Those five guys probably need 30 plus minutes a night. But can you play all of them at the same time? Can you ask Paolo to guard fives? Can you ask Franz to guard fives? It's tough. Paolo, I don't know if it's a Jamal Mosley thing. I mean, God Shamgod has definitely developed Anthony Black, and we developed Paolo Banchero's shot selection a little bit differently. But he's been playing better in the month of January going forward. So the Orlando Magic 15, I think they could end up higher at the end of the year if they could just get healthy. Like, I think they're better than the Miami Heat, 100%. Miami just beat Chicago. They almost blew that game. It was almost a bad loss for the Heat. They've also been just kind of inconsistent this year. Like, they're right around 500 where I expected them to be. I think they've been a little bit better than expected because Jaquez has really bounced back after like a down sophomore year. And I think Bam has been inconsistent for sure this year offensively. Norman Powell has been kind of negative as a defensive player as of late. And him and Hero, it's tough to have them out there at the same time. We'll see if they end up making a trade for Giannis. Since December 9th, the Heat have only headed into one matchup with a record more than 3 games clear of 500. So yeah, they've kind of been mid, better lack of term. The Sixers come in at 13. I mean, Embiid's been playing like a top 10 player in the league again. Maxi's been playing like a top 10 player in the league this season. Not saying he's a top 10 player overall. My Sixers friends are just like kind of fed up with Nick Nurse and the offensive creativity where it's just like Embiid post. And then Maxi tries to make something out of nothing as the shot clock winds down. I think they should make a trade. I think Quentin Grimes does have positive value, and I do think the Sixers with Embiid, Maxi, and Paul George making a ton of money next year, with their limited flexibility, I don't think they're going to pay fair market value for Grimes. I don't know if Grimes cares about being back in Philly. I would look to move Grimes at the deadline. I don't know what exactly you can get for Grimes. He's making like $7-ish million. Tari Eason's a pipe dream, probably not happening, but you'd have to pay Eason at the end of the year as well. Like, could we do Grimes for Jarris Walker? I don't think Indiana would probably do that. I don't know if they're willing to even trade away a first-round pick. We'll see what Daryl Morey does. We know that Edgecomb's untouchable in a Giannis trade. The Raptors come in at number 12. Also been a team where it's hard to, like, take them seriously yet, but they're a good team. Like, quickly, way better on the road than he is at Scotiabank. Conroy Boyles, who they use here, has been great. Ingram has been well worth what you paid for him at the deadline last year. Scotty's been great this year. They had the RJ injury. They've had the Pirtle injury. I mean, they're like a clear Nick Richards team. Just send out Osho Agbaji for Nick Richards. Win-win. Maybe they have to kick in a second rounder. I wouldn't trade for Sabonis. I just think it's a little premature. I would see what this team could do with its physicality in the playoffs. And you have RJ's expiring in the offseason. Maybe Quickly's money you can leverage. Hopefully you can have like a good end to the season. You have Scotty, you have Ingram in place, you have Conroy Boyles. I would still call up Giannis's agent at Octagon and see would Giannis sign an extension in Toronto? Because if so, I'm making a move. I'm making a move for Giannis. 11, we have the Clippers. Shout out to them. They were probably bottom 5 in a power ranking earlier in the year. They've been one of the best teams in the sport as of late. They just lost to the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to Jokic coming back on real performance against the Clippers. Kawhi has been great this year. Harden's been great this year, and they've done this without Derrick Jones Jr., who's been hurt as of late for this team. I mean, yeah, this is good for the rest of the NBA and having parity in the league because we almost saw the Thunder get a top 5 pick in the draft. It's hard to take them seriously, though, as like a conference finals team that we thought they could be going into the year. It's just like, can we trust James Harden in a playoff series? I don't really know at this point. But either way, I just feel like this is like way better than what we thought this could end up being. Like, they waive Chris Paul, or no, they didn't waive. They send him home. They've been actually like the best team in the NBA since they did that. And I wonder, will they make a move at the deadline in a way? They have like Bogey's expiring money. They have John Collins' expiring money, but he's been playing like too well to trade him. So I just wonder what they're going to end up doing. Ooh, my Knicks kind of low here at number 10. Damn, they have Cleveland in front of New York. They have Boston and Philly. I kind of disagree with Cleveland. I think the Knicks lose to Cleveland this year. I know they beat them twice. They beat them earlier in the year, and they beat them on Christmas. The Cavs might have beat them another time. I forget. 29-18. The Knicks are now, they just won 5 in a row. Their defense is getting a lot better as of late. This man right here, Mitchell Robinson, might be the most underappreciated player in the NBA. Not by Knicks fans, but I think by the rest of the NBA. What he does on the glass, like the Knicks need to give him a blank check in the offseason. If he could stay healthy, he really could swing a playoff series like he's done in the past. He swung the playoff series, I would say, against the Cavs a couple years ago. He was, I guess, yeah, he was good for the Knicks against the Celtics. They had to like literally hack a Mitch, and Tibbs did a good job like bringing him in and out at the right times, and he was just a monster on the glass. He really can swing a playoff series for you, and I just feel like this is low for the Knicks. I mean, I'm also going to be a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say biased, because I'm also pessimistic with the Knicks, because it's hard to kind of view them right now as a clear contender when you have that 2-9 rough patch and you lose to like the Sacramento Kings. I know Brunson got hurt, but like you should be able to beat the Sacramento Kings in that game with or without Brunson. Bridges has been playing better as of late, and Anunoby. Cat's been weird because Cat's been like just a monster on the glass, but his shot hasn't been falling. And maybe his confidence is a little bit hurt because he's been thrown around in trade rumors, and I think that's been public that, hey, Cat's confidence and trust took a little bit of a hit in the offseason when that report came out that the Knicks were interested about Cat for Giannis, and Milwaukee didn't want to do it. Number 9, Phoenix. Can't say enough about this team. They just end up beating the Cavs on the second night of a back-to-back after beating the Detroit Pistons by 20+ without Devin Booker. Now, Jalen Green comes back against the Cavs, but this man right here might get MVP votes, which is freaking insane. Going into the year, I said this is going to be the biggest name on the trade market because I thought the Suns' record was probably going to be reversed. I thought they were going to be 19-29. Instead, they're 29-19. They play insanely hard. Reminds me last year a little bit of like the Pistons. I can't really take them seriously against like Denver. I mean, maybe they could beat Houston in round 1 or San Antonio. Who knows? But if they like end up in the play-in and they got to go up against like Minnesota, I still think I would take Minnesota in a playoff series. We'll get into playoff talk like in the beginning of March, like who we like in a playoff series, who's a contender, pretender. I wonder if they're going to make a trade. I wouldn't trade away any like valuable pieces. Like I'm not trading Kaman. I'm not trading Jalen Green. I would trade Nick Richards in like a second if you can, just to get like another wing option, maybe another wing option, because Iguodala's been a fine backup. I hope they use a little bit more Kaman. I know he's been having good games in the G League, but we'll see in the second half. This man, I do want to propose an intrusive. I've been saying the word intrusive a lot lately, but it's sometimes I just think about this stuff. So say Dylan Brooks wants, who was the comp in my head? Like Mikal Bridges, right? Maybe, I don't think he was the guy in my head that I was thinking of. Was it McDaniels? No. Maybe Wiggins. Okay, so say the Suns, right, have two options this offseason. Brooks is making 19 mil next year. Let me just propose this to you. Would you rather pay Dylan Brooks $35 million a year on average, right? $35 million a year or $30 million a year for the next 4 years, which he's definitely outplayed that this year, or would you rather get 4 first-round picks for him in the offseason? Just throwing that out there. Would you sell high on Dylan Brooks? It's really tough to say at the time. Nobody wants to sell high on somebody, right? But what if a team offered you like the Desmond Bane package for Dylan Brooks? Do you say yes? You might say no, honestly. Like, you might be like, no, he's way too important, and he's been arguably their most important player this year. With like him being healthy and him stepping up and him having 40 against the #1 defense in the Eastern Conference. But I also don't want to talk, like, it was just an intrusive thought. We don't need to talk about anything like that right now. But yeah, the Suns coming in at number 9. Yeah, coming in at number 8, Cleveland. Now, I do also want to see Cleveland at full strength. I feel like, I mean, the loss of the Suns was a little disappointing, but they've also had their injuries this year. Like, Darius Garland has struggled to stay healthy. Evan Mobley's missing some time as well. Everybody kind of has their injuries, right? Like, I mean, they're only one loss worse than the Suns, and it's like crazy because we think the Suns are so much better. It's just because of where expectations were going into the year. Same with like the Knicks and honestly the Cavs. Like, the Knicks are 29-18, the Cavs are 29-20. They're only 2 losses apart. They have the same amount of wins, but we all think like Cleveland's really disappointing this year, and the Knicks are like, I guess, semi-disappointing at this point. So it's all kind of relative to your expectations going into the year. I've definitely been disappointed with Cleveland. They've already eclipsed as many losses this year as they had last year. And Donovan Mitchell has had to carry this team like every single night offensively outside of like, hey, Jalen Tyson here and there and Garland when he's been healthy. Lonzo's been kind of a disaster. Hunter's been inconsistent. I think they traded him at the deadline. There's been like a Hunter for Rui idea where Cleveland ducks the tax next year, or they duck the second apron, I think. They clear because they get Rui's expiring. Hunter's on a 1-year deal, and the Lakers really weren't going to use, I think, cap space notably this offseason, and they may view Hunter as an upgrade over Rui. And Hunter's under 1 more year after this year, so it's not like it's a bad deal long term. Maybe Dalton connects in the deal as well. I mean, I just want to see Strus healthy. I want to see this team healthy out there. I've enjoyed Craig Porter Jr. and Tyrese Proctor more than Monza this year. Like, Larry Nance Jr. has kind of been underwhelming as a signing as well. I'd rather watch Naquan Tomlin out there and Dean Wade defensively. So honestly, they have the pieces to still be good. It's just like, I don't know if they'll ever get over the hump unless they figure out the backcourt or the frontcourt, the 2 small guards. And I think they got to move Mobley to the 5 and eventually move on from Jared Allen. Easier said than done. Coming in at number 7, we have Minnesota, another confusing team this year. They had that like weird stretch where they lost to like Sacramento and I forget who else in like, when was that? That was like mid or beginning December. Earlier in the year where they could not close out a game. They go on a great run as of late, and then they lose to like 4 or 5 in a row. They lose to was Golden State was one of them. They lost to San Antonio, Houston, and then I think Utah. Yeah, it was the first use of Nurkic triple-double game. I should know that one very well. Minnesota comes in at number 7. I still take them very seriously because of this man right here, Anthony Edwards. I still trust Gobert defensively. You know, I love DiVincenzo, Randall, and McDaniels, but yeah, Minnesota comes in at number 7. Houston 6. You can make an argument Minnesota over Houston, and I don't think I would really disagree with you there because Houston's also been pretty confusing. Now they have a tougher schedule in the Western Conference, and their advanced numbers look better, and they've lost Fred VanVleet. Haven't really gotten much out of Finney Smith this year. Jabari Smith Jr. has kind of been underwhelming as of late, and like Steven Adams out for the year as well, and Easton's had his injuries, but like they're 29-17. The Knicks are 29-18, so they're not really that much different in the win-loss column. But yeah, I think you're taking Houston over New York right now. Coming in at number 5, Boston. Same record as the New York Knicks, 29-18. Right, are the Knicks 29-18? I don't know, actually. The Knicks might be 30-18 if this came out pre-Blazers win. Yeah, so the Knicks are 30-18 now. I guess Boston will also be 30-18 because they beat the Sacramento Kings last night. I mean, no Jason Tatum in your number 5 in the NBA. I mean, I'm saying Jordan Knott's coach of the year. I think the guy in Detroit and Joe Mazzulla are right there as well. They've been incredible. Shout out to Peyton Pritchard this year. Shout out to Neemias Queta. And shout out to Jaylen Brown. Coming in at number 4, we have San Antonio. Weird, like, guard kind of inconsistencies with Fox, Harper, and Castle as of late. They obviously have Victor Wembanyama, who will make any difference in a playoff series. I'm just very excited to see Wemby play in the playoffs for the first time in his career. Like, crossing my fingers he stays healthy because it is going to be cinema when we get there. 3, we have Denver. I disagree. I think Denver's better than Detroit. They just lost to Detroit. Jamal Murray could not hit a free throw, but this team also didn't have Nikola Jokic in that game. They haven't had Aaron Gordon really a lot this year, and they haven't had Cam Johnson and Christian Brown. This team at full strength with the way Peyton Watson has been playing and Jonas Valanciunas as of late, this is, I think, I mean, they were my finals pick preseason. Yeah, so I think they're going to win the finals this year. I feel better about Denver versus OKC, and I would have Denver ahead of Detroit. Detroit comes in at number 2. Obviously been the best team in the Eastern Conference. They should be the number 1 East team here. I disagree, though. I would have Denver as a better team than Detroit. They are 2 games worse than Detroit, or no, they're like 3 games worse than Detroit. 2 different in the win column, 4 in the loss column. It's just like with all their injuries this year, I mean, Detroit's been healthier. I know Cade's missed some time and has dealt with the wrist issue, and they've been so much fun to watch. They need another offensive weapon, though, I think, to be taken seriously as a team that could beat OKC or Denver. And then OKC at number 1. I guess that shouldn't change. I know they're in this recent skid right now. They've also had, like, a lot of injuries this year to Caruso and to Hartenstein, who recently came back, and J-Dub's been hurt. I think they're going to make a trade at the deadline. They might add another big. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't know if it's a hot take to say right now, but I'm thinking Denver's going to win it all this year. We will see, though. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know when you agree or disagree with here on the channel. We got the trade deadline this Thursday as well. Thank you guys for all the support on this channel as well. I'm just kind of throwing out random ideas with you guys. It's either reactions, maybe it's team talkabouts, maybe it's like a mock draft here and there. I'm probably going to do a couple more mocks on this channel post deadline. In between when I do like my big ones on my SROS channel, where it's more just like talking about the prospects. Like I think I want to do like winners and losers as well. All that will come probably post, and like draft sleepers. That's going to come post trade deadline, because obviously we're talking a lot about trades, and we're talking more about trades because we haven't seen any trades as well outside of the Trae Young deal. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Catch you on the next one. Peace.